Hi, I'm Daria Burke, Chief Marketing Officer at JustFab, where we are firm believers that while shoes won't change the world, the women who wear them will. As a brand and as a team, we encourage women to walk with purpose, to pursue whatever they want, and to stand up for everything that they deserve. And it's this belief that inspired us to launch our new series, Leading with Style, where I get to talk to culture-changing women shaping our world about their career and leadership journeys and favorite fashion moments along the way. Today, I am beyond excited to welcome our very first guest, actress Ashley Madekwe, who has consistently and fearlessly used her platform to empower the women in her community and to advocate for social justice for all. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank
Ashley.
you for having me.
For those who have not met you, walk us through your career and tell me a little bit how you got here.
Well, I grew up in inner city London and I was always a fan of the arts. I was that annoying child who was always performing and forcing people to watch her. And my parents eventually sent me to a local drama group. It was just like in a church hall, 2 minutes from my house. I think I was like 10. I remember being told that I was really good by the teacher, and having that encouragement kind of propelled me. Like I stuck with it. From that moment onwards, from the age of 10, I was like, I'm an actress. Obviously I'm an actress. And I kept up with my training. I went to performing arts college and then I went to drama school. And along the way I've done theatre, film, TV, and here I am.
Here you are, and I'm so excited because, and I've shared this with you, I love and I'm so inspired how consistently you have chosen to use your voice and use your platform to speak out against social injustice, in championing other women. And so I'm curious, did you make a conscious choice to use your platform that way, or did it just sort of happen?
I think it was a bit of both. As I've grown up and I've become more aware of the world around me, I think I've become more attuned to what I see as inequalities or social injustice. And I was raised with a really clear sense of right and wrong. So it's always felt natural for me to speak up, but also on the other hand, there are some times when maybe I'm not fully aware of an issue and it's brought to my attention, then I'll push myself to find out more about it and push myself to speak about it, I guess.
Yeah, and so why has it been important for you to champion those specific areas? I think you've been so vocal, especially. I would consider you maybe political with a small p.
Yeah.
You know, I think that activism isn't just what we do for a living, but it's how we show up and behave. So how did you think about, the areas where you were going to lean in and raise awareness?
Well, the issues that directly affect me, without sounding selfish, I think those are the things that you first become aware of because you can relate to them more. So being a woman, women's rights are really important to me. But then when you think about a bigger picture, women's rights are human rights. We're human too. We make up more than half of the population, I think. So it kind of dilutes and you think about it for everybody.
We'll be sharing this interview on a really significant day, on Women's Equality Day. And so you talked a little bit about that. What does women's equality mean for you?
For me, it means fairness. It means truly having the same treatment as the men. It means being in leadership positions. It means having pay parity. It means paid maternity leave and things like that.
That's right. And I think as much as we talk about women's equality, it's not equal for all women still,
no,
right?
It's not.
And so you see a lot of the statistics that are published often are looking at corporate America. And so they look at the pay discrepancies between white men and white women, and then you see black women and Hispanic women and Asian women and sort of where, the rest of us fall within that, right? And so this is an intersectional conversation that we're having. And so Viola Davis has sort of recently spoken out about that in Hollywood as well. And so I'm curious, as a black actress, how you think about that and how much that experience rings true for you too.
It definitely rings true for me, and I've been lucky in that I've worked with a lot of white women who have been open about what their earnings were. And I think that it takes having those honest conversations, and it's really uncomfortable. I think it's uncomfortable for anybody to talk about money, but unfortunately, we have to have transparency or we're never going to know. And I think it also is going to take allies because we can only do so much. It's going to take women like Jessica Chastain, who I know advocated for Octavia to have pay parity with her on a movie. And I think I heard that she was appalled when she heard how much Octavia was getting paid.
It's amazing. You know, as a Black woman, we grow up hearing that you've got to be twice as good, run twice as fast, work twice as hard.
Yep.
And you had in that clip Viola speaking for, I mean, even my own personal experiences of saying, I've got the Emmy or 2 Emmys and the Tony and the, you know, and her accolades and her education, and yet still she's, you know, having to ask for, and frankly,
and I'm sure being told no.
Viola Davis trying to demand, but still being told no. Sort of shifting along those lines, you know, you've spoken in the past with the media about colorblind casting. You know, being a Black actress doesn't mean that every sort of character, right, has to be Black in that instance,
course not.
right? And so would you talk more about what you mean when you talk about sort of colorblind casting, how you think about that?
Absolutely. For me, colorblind casting means when you have a set of characters, if their race, their ethnicity, their heritage isn't pertinent to the storyline, if we're not telling a story about, I don't know, an Indian family, then why does it matter? Very often, you know, when we're doing workplace comedies, for example, why do all the characters need to be white? Why can't you see every race for every part and just pick the best person? Now, there are definitely roles that I think specifically have to be one race or the other. It would be ludicrous to think otherwise, but I think colorblind casting is helpful, and especially for things that are in the fantasy realm. I actually had quite a fraught conversation in my DMs about this, because somebody told me that he felt it was unfair that white actors have recently stepped back from voicing characters of color in animation, like The Simpsons, for example, but yet Black actors want to play Shakespeare characters. I'm like, well, who cares who plays Prospero? He's a magician in a made-up world. But the whitewashing of parts I think is detrimental. Yeah. And representation is so important. I could talk about representation all day.
Well, we can talk more about it.
Seeing yourself represented in film and media makes you believe you can do something. It makes you feel you're not alone.
Who did that for you?
Mariah Carey.
Okay. So do you think, though, where things are right now, there's more openness to talk about colorblind casting? Do you feel like the dialogue is happening a little bit more fluidly?
Yes, there definitely is a shift, but I think that what the issue is that maybe we need more people of color, more women of color, especially behind the camera in leadership positions, who are making decisions, because it's from the top down. And so that needs to happen. And I also think the issue of colorism needs to be addressed as well.
Say more about that.
Well, I mean, I think that there is colorism within my own community, but also colorism from the industry, in that they have an idea of what they think a person of color looks like.
So an acceptable black
girl.
Right. Okay.
And I've been the beneficiary of that, and I've also not benefited from it in some instances. So I think it's a tricky conversation and an uncomfortable conversation, but we have to have it.
We do. I mean, obviously, I have the luxury and the privilege of getting to work in fashion and getting to think about not just sharing incredible shoes with women, but telling great stories, right? That's how this whole series came about. And my team, some of whom are here, you know, we talk about that when we look at casting for our photo shoots, and we look at casting for everything, the talent that we work with and the brand ambassadors and our partners, making sure that it represents the range of women who are our customers and who look to us.
The spectrum of women.
That's right.
In all of the races, there isn't one type of Latin woman. There isn't one type of Asian woman. All the varieties we have for white women, we also have those for women of color.
Correct. That's right. In fact, we have a woman who's one of our ambassadors right now, and she's in braids in a lot of the content that she shared with us, and she looks incredible. And it was honestly just a proud moment, just to say, you know, yes, see the range.
Isn't
see
our
all
hair
of it.
so like our hair?
It's magic.
Our hair is magic.
It's magic.
And it also was a kind of a source of anxiety for me for a really long time. My hair.
Oh, in what sense?
Because well, for years I would only wear it straight professionally because I didn't feel like my natural curl was professional. And then at a time when I was starting to embrace my natural hair, I was getting a lot of pushback with it on set. Very often there isn't someone on a film and TV set who knows how to deal with Afro hair or the ranges of Afro hair. And I don't even have the thickest, tightest curls, but I would suffer from that.
Yeah.
I was once made to keratin my hair when I didn't want to, which
And-
they then curled over, which made zero sense.
So just damage on damage.
Just
on
damage on damage
yeah.
on damage, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think it's. I feel like we're slowly, and it's insane that we're negotiating the right to wear our hair the way it grows out of our head.
Yeah.
By the way, but I do feel like that shift is slowly happening. We're seeing more women on camera in their natural hair and or braids or and just showing the range,
Being able
showing
to
the
do
breadth.
whatever we want.
And-
Sometimes
and
I want to
having
wear it straight,
agency.
but
That's right.
sometimes I don't.
That's right. That's right. So our partnership with you was obviously born out of our mission to celebrate, uplift, and empower women. What does this idea of walking with purpose, which we've called this collection with you, what does it mean to you to walk with purpose?
Walking with purpose to me means being confident and comfortable in your own skin, being unafraid to ask for what you want, being unafraid to have the difficult conversations, and also having a certain amount of grace while you do it.
That's right. It's interesting. I was having a conversation recently about that. And as a female leader, sort of growing up in my career, I used to feel like I had to take on the posture of being very serious to be taken seriously. And I'm not a really serious person. So, to be able to be goofy, to be funny, to be girly and feminine, and sort of bring feminine principles into my leadership style, I had to kind of grow into that. I'm curious, did you sort of also find that you had to maybe try on different ways of showing up?
I think that maybe I come from South London, and I grew up, people are very direct from where I'm from. Like we say what we mean, and we can have quite an aggressive, confrontational way of communicating. And so I've had to temper that as I've grown in the industry. So sometimes I went too far the other way, like I was almost trying too hard to be feminine and soft and
polite.
Yeah, polite.
Yes, okay.
And that was a source of frustration for me sometimes. I remember I would get into, not an altercation, but I would try and express my opinion on set, and I would get shut down. And because I wouldn't say what I wanted in the way I wanted to, I would go and have a cry in my trailer. But now I am more comfortable being direct and firm when I need to be.
Yeah, I think we have to be, and we have to have room to be soft and firm.
Exactly.
When it's appropriate.
And
doing
you're
that
not being
authentically.
difficult
That's
for
right.
asking what you want in a straightforward way.
Difficult, that word.
I hate the word difficult.
I have a very difficult relationship with the word difficult.
Same.
So in honor of our partnership, a donation was made by JustFab and yourself to Beauty to the Streets.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. Can you tell us a little bit more about Beauty to the Streets and why this charity in particular is so important to you?
Well, I came across it on social media, I think Twitter. It had been retweeted by someone. They were looking for donations, and I clicked on the page. Immediately I saw a picture of Shirley, the lady who runs the organization. A black lady with a huge smile. She always has different colored hair. Like, she is immediately engaging. So I wanted to find out more. And I found out that she was spending her time going to the homeless women in LA, giving them showers, haircuts, beauty treatments, pretty much on her own dime, and just getting by the donations that she got. And then it quickly expanded, and she was also providing shelter and food and other necessities. And then when COVID-19 hit, she was going out on the streets in the middle of a global pandemic, feeding people. I just found it so inspirational.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing it to our attention, because so did we, and we were so excited.
It's so great. It's such a small organization. You can really see where the funds are going.
That's right.
Well,
and listen, I think there are no shortage of causes
really, there
to
really
donate
are,
our time and our money and our resources, but it is important to make sure that small local charities and nonprofits also get attention. So thank you for sharing it with us and bringing it to our attention. We're excited to be partnering with them. So, okay, we talked a little bit about this, but I really want you to give some advice to anybody who's watching this, because we live in a world where women are told no, and you mentioned that, right? You were feeling shut down in instances where you were too outspoken, or that they can't do something. And so if you were to encounter a young lady who said, I feel like I just hear no all the time, what would you say to her?
First of all, I hear no. All actors hear no.
Sure.
More than they hear yes. Like, we don't get more jobs than we get. And I'd be lying if I said that wasn't demoralizing, because it is. I think it's okay to feel that feeling of feeling demoralized. But then I think you have to almost let the no fuel you. You have to let it kind of light a fire in you and turn it into a yes. And it might not be the yes that you think it is.
That's
Maybe it's not a yes from this person, but you move forward and it's a yes in another way further down the road.
Yeah, I love that. I will say, I will get a little woo-woo for a second.
Yeah.
And I always say I have two nieces who are in college, and even sometimes to myself, that the universe will rise to meet you at the level of your expectations.
It really
and
will.
So don't let that no be the thing that sets your benchmark,
No.
right? And that if you can just continue to believe that
Sometimes
the
it's a
universe
no
is
for
gonna meet you
right
there.
now.
That's right.
That's all it is.
That's right. Not yet. It's a not yet.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so can we switch gears a
Yes.
little bit and talk about something we also really love? Fashion. So you curated a special collection for us, and we talked about it being titled Walk with Purpose, but how are you hoping that women will feel when they wear it? And talk a little bit about what inspired it for you.
I hope women feel empowered, uplifted, confident. In picking them, in curating it, I was thinking of the women in my life. I picked a lot of boots, which I like. I like the practicalness of them. Yeah, I want women to feel confident and good about themselves. But when you feel good, you look good.
That's right. I believe that. And so what's your favorite shoe? I know this is a terrible question because you're not supposed to pick favorites, but what's your favorite? Why do you love it? Where would you wear it?
This is really hard. Can I have two?
Okay, sure.
So I really like the lattice pump with a little heel.
Yes.
I think the
It's like
lattice
little
detail is
woven with the wooden heel.
very
I
cute.
love that.
And I do really love this boot.
I do too.
But I'm not going to say this because
Okay.
I'm wearing it. So this boot is getting the love already.
Fair.
There's a black mock croc boot that I really like. It has a Cuban heel, and this is the kind of boot I would wear everywhere. Like, I know I would wear that to meet a director and speak about his film and then go right out to lunch. Like, a Cuban heel is a good height.
Yes, it is. It's very wearable.
very
very
wearable.
versatile. I love it. That's one of my favorite ones too. So we like the same
Yeah.
shoes. What size shoe do you wear?
I'm a 38 to 39.
I'm like 39 and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So at least we don't have to fight.
I know. So before we wrap up, what is the best advice a woman that you admire has given to you?
My mum always impressed upon me the importance of my independence. She's been with my father since she was 17, and she always just impressed upon me the importance of having my own life and my own funds. And it really stuck with me. And I'm a married lady now, and we do share things, but I like having my own autonomy and my own independence.
I love that. I do too. And I think it's okay to have love in your life and be taken care of and still be independent.
But exactly. That's what she showed me that in her relationship with my father.
That's amazing advice. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For spending all this time with us. I hope that you all enjoyed this interview as much as I have. Stay tuned. We will be bringing you more amazing conversations with incredible women as a part of our Leading with Style series.